All right, let's go. All right, have some technical difficulty. We're good to go. We're good to go. Let me see if I'm on and ready over here. All right, yeah, we are. We're live everywhere, you guys. We're live everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, TikTok. All right, welcome back, man. Another episode of Financial Freedom Hour with your host. I'm Louis Bland, where every Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific time, we break down how to build your credit, grow your finances, and protect your future. All right, before we jump into today's game plan, big shout out to our partners, Moms Off the Couch. Moms Off the Couch, they are they're a lot more than a women's support group. All right. Moms Off the Couch, they're local. You just go on the Facebook, and it's more in Northern California for now, but they put on events. It's just a nice support group, positivity and all that good stuff. So shout out to Moms Off the Couch. Restore Funding. This is our business funding partner. All right. Their owner, Xavier, is a really good guy. He's helped me out a few times. And so you guys go check out Restore Funding. And then lastly, Simply Match. All right. Lastly, Simply Match. All right. They are a co-signing company. So if you're having a hard time getting an apartment, auto loan or mortgage or anything like that, Simply Match, SIMPLI, Simply Match with an I.com. All right. Simply Match with an I.com. They can help you get into that house, that car, or whatever you're trying to get into. Also, special thanks to Millennial Staffing Services. They are sponsoring today's show. Millennial Staffing Services, they provide virtual assistance for pretty much any task that you have. Social media, outreach, AI, all that good stuff. Millennial Staffing Services. I have a bunch of VAs from them actually. So shout out to Millennial Staffing Services. All right. So also, if you're serious about learning how to fix your credit step by step, you can join my new school community. That's school with a K, SKOOL.com/King Credit. I had an old group, but had to switch it up. So school with a K, SKOOL.com/King Credit. In there, we do our Zooms, our interactive stuff. That's where I really get to dive deep and go in and actually help people hands-on and all that good stuff. All right. Also, don't forget, if you need a free consultation, you need to get that credit fixed, kingcreditservices.com. You can also reach me at 844-689-0199. All right. And we need some more sponsors. Let's go. If you want to sponsor the show, okay, you like the show, small companies, small businesses, big businesses, all right, we'll take them all. All right. You can reach me at contact@kingcreditservices.com. All right. Let's get into today's episode. All right. Fix your credit the right way. We always have to come back to credit at least once a month. All right, at least once a month. And I'll try to switch it up a little bit, break down the basics for you so it's easily digestible. But yeah, how to fix your credit the right way. All right, how to fix your credit the right way. All right, credit affects where you live, what you drive, what you pay, sometimes even your job. All right, yes. People with bad credit are statistically shown not to get hired as much. All right. So credit is leverage. Without good credit, you're always overpaying, especially here in the US. All right. Here's a quick little mini story. All right. I just remember a client. She was a single mom. She tried to fix her credit on her own for a couple years. When you go on social media today, and you try to fix your credit, man, there's a whole bunch of information out there that's just not true. All right, it's just not true. So she was trying to fix her credit off and on for about 3-4 years. Just sending off dispute. She was getting dispute letters from Google and all those dispute letters that are super that just don't work. Honestly, that just don't work. The credit sweeps and all that stuff. We'll talk about that stuff too. But yeah, she was just trying to fix her credit for on and off for about 3 years. After working with us about 7-8 months, we got her up from like a 490 to that 690 range. All right. So about 200 points, but the score is one thing. All right. Remember, I always say you don't get approved or denied based on your score. You get approved or denied based on your profile. All right. You get approved or denied based on your profile. Okay. So we'll clean her credit up and she got a house. All right. And all the receipts, all this stuff is all on my social media. I like to, you have to show receipts in today's day and age. There are a lot of schemers and scammers out there. So be careful. All right, just a quick preview for today's episode. Just I'm gonna show you guys tell you guys the wrong way so you can avoid it. The traditional and most popular way to fix your credit, and then I'm gonna go into the best way. All right, go into the best way. But I did have some questions from earlier in the week. So I do go live twice a day on TikTok, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time. So that's where I get a lot of my material from, a lot of my questions from, a lot of my topics. So if you don't follow me on there, make sure you guys are following me. I'm actually live everywhere right now too. Um, but one of the questions was, what's the first thing someone should look at when pulling their credit? The first thing someone should look at when pulling their credit is your personal information. All right, your personal information. So as soon as you get your credit report, right? If it's Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, My Score IQ, My FICO, right? It's going to show you your score. Okay, then it's going to go into like your personal information. You don't want to see all kind of names and different addresses and stuff on there. We'll talk about this in a second, but that's the first thing you need to be looking at because if you used to live on 123 Peachtree 10 years ago, and there's still accounts that are connected to that account and they're still on your credit report, we can't have that. All right, so that's pretty much the first thing you need to be looking at. TikTok, I see y'all over there. I'm on the radio, yes, sir. We'll get some Q&A going in a second, yo. All right. Can you really get a 700 plus score after bad credit? Of course, I did. Right, I did, and thousands of other clients that we've helped has too. So again, with the score, all right, I'm gonna keep talking about this. 700 plus score is great. 800 plus score is great, but it's about your profile. Okay, so there's people with 740, 750, 760s that can't get approved for anything, right? Because they have one open account, okay, and an authorized user or something. All right, one open account and an authorized user. So you need to build that profile up, right? If you don't want to get hard inquiries, there's other accounts called starter accounts or credit builders. All right. And I have those in my link tree. It's free. It's a Google Doc. I already have them already done. You don't have to do no more research. I did all the work for you. All right. You just go to any of my social media handles at King Credit Services and my link trees in there. You just scroll down and it says starter accounts and credit builders. All right. Starter accounts and credit builders. Go on there. It's free. Check your spam in your junk folder because sometimes emails go there. Check that. Get some of those easy accounts. All right. Build up that profile. You want to have a couple accounts on your profile because let's say, all right, who do you think is going to get approved? Okay. Person A, all right, Johnny, okay, just turned 18, nothing on his credit report. He tries to go get an MX Platinum and is denied. All right. Let me interject in there actually too. When you get denied, okay, don't look at it as a loss. All right, look at it as a lesson. All right, there is no losses when it comes to this credit stuff. Okay. Because when you get denied, they're going to send you a denial letter, right? That denial letter literally tells you what you need to do. Okay. It's going to say, hey, you have a thin credit profile. You don't have enough experience with credit. You have too many inquiries, whatever it is. Okay. You look at that denial letter and now you can actually get to work. Okay. Now you can actually get to work. All right. So Johnny, person A, nothing on his report, applies, gets denied. Oh, no. It is what it is. Person 2, all right, his sister, Jonica, person 2, person B, all right, she got a couple easy accounts. She got a Kovo. She got a Credit Strong. She got a Kickoff, right? Some of these easy accounts just to get something on your profile. Now, when she goes applies, she gets approved. It might not be a crazy limit. You ain't getting 50K. All right. You might get a little 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, something like that. And then you can build on top of that. All right. Those first credit cards are there. So you can actually learn how to use your card. Right. So you can actually learn how to use your card. Taz, what's up, man? I see you over there on TikTok. I see you, man. So you can actually use that card. When you get that first credit card, the first thing you need to be doing, find out your payment date. Find out your statement date. Okay. This is stuff that I wish I knew. Okay. Your payment date is when your minimum payment is due. All right. Your statement date is when your balance reports to the credit reporting agencies. So a lot of people only know their payment date, right? So they'll spend, let's say you got $1,000 credit card. You spend $700, okay? That's 70% utilization now. All right. You pay the minimum payment of 40. Okay. What are we at now? 760. Okay. Now we're at oh wait, 660. Sorry. We're at $660. So that's a 66% interest. I mean utilization now. All right. Now that 60 now when that $660 reports to the credit reporting agencies, your utilization is going to be 66%, right? And now you're like, wait, what's going on? Why did my score drop? It's because you worried about your payment date, but you also have to worry about your statement date. All right. So here's something that I do. I literally talk about this every single day. I'm live again, live every day on TikTok, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time. So you can change your payment date to 3 days before your statement date. All right. You can change your payment date to 3 days before your statement date. All right. Why is my camera freezing and stuff like this? I'm gonna just have to put the static picture on there for now. And over the break, I'll reset it. All right, let's get back to it. All right, change your payment date to 3 days before your statement date. Then you can just put it on auto pay, right? So you can put it on auto pay for the statement balance, the full balance, your current balance, right? Yeah, you can choose one of those. When I first did it, I did the statement balance. Then I went into the current balance, and then I went to the full balance. All right, that's just me. But I will say this: when you switch to auto pay, it's going to deduct that money from your account. So you make sure the money is actually in there. All right, make sure that money is actually in there. Does bad credits always mean bankruptcy? No, no. You can get out of bad credit without going into bankruptcy. I know bankruptcy is a huge topic right now. I might have to do a live. I want to, if there's any bankruptcy attorneys that's listening live on the radio or TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're watching at, if we have any bankruptcy attorneys, I want you to come here, especially if you're in San Diego. You can come in here to the radio free of charge, of course. Just come help me out, spit some facts, spit some gems to the people. But yeah, I'm really, really trying to get some more bankruptcy attorneys, okay, in here. But yeah, just because you have bad credit does not mean you need to file bankruptcy. All right, file bankruptcy. He said, "You blind." No, man, I'm live on the radio. All right. Where can I get all three credit reports? You can use Experian, you can use my FICO, or you can use my Score IQ. If you want to use my Score IQ, just hit the link in my bio and it says get your FICO score for $1. All right. Mo, thoughts on Goodwill letters? Goodwill letters are what people use on trying to get late payments removed from open accounts. Um, I've seen an down tick on their effectiveness, honestly. So you can try it out, right? If you've had that account for a couple years, your odds of getting it removed, getting that late payment removed is a lot higher. But yeah, if you just got the account, Goodwill letters is kind of useless. So a better way is to you can get the King Credit Bundle. It has the late payment stuff that we use as a company too. So you can go to kingcreditbundle.com or wherever you're watching at, the link tree. You click the link tree and it says King Credit Bundle. If you're in the US, do the regular one. If you're in Canada, do the King Credit Bundle Canada. All right. What you streaming on? Everywhere, everywhere. My credit keeps dropping. I don't owe nothing, and my account says it's because I keep spending 30%. Well, then you do owe something. All right. Chachi Losa on TikTok. So yeah, if your utilization is 30%, you're right, you're using almost a third of your available credit. So you can spend what you're going to spend, but as long as you pay that balance down before the statement date, they're never going to see that you're using 30% of your available credit, right? So use your money and then you can pay it down before that statement date. Meek Millie, good afternoon. I'm 21. I have my first credit card, 700. How do I start using it? I'm so lost. Hey, Meek Millie, let's go. 21 first card, man. I know that felt good when you got approved. Woo! Oh yeah, that made me feel good right there. But yeah, you're already on the right path, man. So that's what we're breaking down today. Find out that payment date, find out that statement date, and just use your common sense. All right. Meaning, if you got a $500 card, but you got $50 in your bank account, you can't spend 500. You don't have to pay it off. All right. If someone would have told me that little nugget right there, man, a lot of overdraft and late fees and all that good stuff. Okay. So common sense. All right. If you don't have the money to pay it off, you can't spend that much on your actual credit card. All right. Elijah, can I get a loan with 533 credit and one collection? Elijah, unfortunately, if you do get approved for a loan, the interest rate is going to be 100,000%. All right. You're going to have to pawn off your firstborn. Okay. You don't want that loan, man. A better route, shoot me a DM. All right. Let's get on a get a free consultation scheduled. Let's look at that credit. Let's get you right. 3 to 6 months. You can be the 6s, 7s. You're gonna get you a nice actual good loan. All right. And get that collection removed too. All right. Consultations are free. All right. Wherever you're watching from, wherever you're watching at, just shoot me a DM. TikTok, DM me the word king. Instagram, DM me the word king. And yeah, we'd be good to go. Good letters don't work. Yeah, it's kind of a toss up. I need to sue. We can help with that too. Um, okay. Do I find out when my statement date is? Oh, that's a good question. So you can find out your statement date by calling your credit card company. You just ask them. I like calling people, right? Especially if I'm paying. I'm a call. Okay. You can do it through the app website. You can also find it that way. But the easiest way, give them a call. Hey, when's my statement date? When's my payment date? Okay, talk to them, right? That's what they're there for. Braxton on TikTok, my Equifax is 699, TransUnion 718. What do you recommend I use my credit for? That question is so broad, bro. We would have to I don't know how many open accounts you got, and I'm guessing you're talking about Credit Karma, which is nothing's wrong with Credit Karma. It just shows a Vantage score. So, Braxton, if you here's what you should do, Braxton. All right, hit the link in my bio. Go get your FICO scores for $1. Download it. Then shoot me a DM when you're done. And then you can shoot me an email at contact@kingcreditservices.com, and I'll check it out. And then on Monday, when I go live again, or after this live, I'll check it out and I'll send you a quick little 30-second video of what you need to do. Meek Millen, do I leave 10% on my credit card before the statement date? I mean, 10% is a good amount, but you can drop it down to single digits if you want to. All right. And Braxton, last one before we got to get into our segment too, yo. Experience, I'm 18, trying to start a landscaping company. All right, yeah. Yeah, I know a little something about a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's really good though. You're only 18 and you're really trying to get stuff started. That's really good, man. So yeah, I can definitely help you out with that. Just shoot me a DM. Let's stay in contact. All right. IG, I see y'all over there. All right, let's go. See, I get distracted, man. I get distracted with the questions. All right. So that was just our first segment. Let's jump into segment 2. So let's actually get into it. We're going to do the wrong way to fix your credit, traditional way, and the best way. All right. I got to start rapid firing this because I've already eaten up a lot of my time. All right, segment 2. Let's go. The wrong way to fix your credit. You have to know the wrong way so you can avoid it, so you can spot the scams that these people are hitting y'all with on these social media platforms. All right. Wrong methods. You've probably heard this. It's a buzzword. Credit sweeps. Okay. Credit sweeps. All right. I'm gonna give you the under the law why it's illegal, but then I'm gonna drop some common sense stuff on you. All right. That's illegal under federal law, 18 US code 1028A. Pretending you're a victim of identity theft when you're not. Okay. Pretending you're a victim of identity theft when you're not. Come on, man. It's it's almost comical. All right, because at this point, there's so much information on this stuff. People don't. People just want to be lied to at this point. All right, people want to be lied to at this point. If someone comes up and tells you, "Hey, we can fix your credit in 3 days," it takes 30 to 45 days for Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion to do a proper investigation. So what you're doing in 3, it doesn't even make sense. Okay, that literally does not make sense. All right. Buying trade lines, temporary boost, but doesn't fix real problems, and you can get flagged. So the trade line thing, this is kind of a little gray area, right? Because you trade like getting added to an authorized user is 100% legal, right? But just the way people use them is wrong. All right. People try to get a secured card and then get 20 authorized users. Like, what are we doing? Right? That doesn't even make sense. Lenders can see that. Okay. Lenders can actually see that. Oh, camera is still freezing. All right, let me put this graphic back up. All right, yeah. So lenders can see that, you guys. So you're not fooling anybody. All right. The proper way to use authorized users, you get your own accounts. All right. And then you can add authorized users to increase your average credit age, to increase your overall available credit, lower your credit utilization, right? To enhance your score. All right. Enhance your score. Okay. Yon0509 on TikTok. What company should we use to pull our credit report? Hit the link in my bio, and then it says get your FICO score for $1. All right, 7-day trial for $1. You should keep it. If you're gonna cancel the trial, you guys, don't do it on day 10 and then get upset that you got charged. It's a 7-day trial. All right. Common sense. Let's use our common sense. All right. So credit sweeps, illegal. All right. Trade lines, be careful. This one, the third one is just kind of crazy to me. False police reports. All right. There's no situation in any industry where filing a false police report is okay. It's nowhere, especially with your credit, right? So you're trying to do a credit sweep, right? Fraud. You couple that with a police report, that's a misdemeanor, can be a felony right there. Then you do a FTC report on top of it. Okay. Don't get upset if you get in trouble when you're doing credit sweeps. All right. This doesn't make sense at this point. There's too much information out there for y'all to still be doing this nonsense. Okay. And the worst part is when you do a credit sweep, all right, when you do a credit sweep, the accounts aren't removed, right? People are like, we remove stuff in 3 days. No, they're not removed. They're suppressed. The accounts are suppressed. So remember I said it takes 30 to 45 days for them to do their investigation, right? So anytime you claim fraud or, this isn't mine or anything like that, it triggers an investigation. While that investigation is going on, the accounts are just suppressed. They're not gone. All right. They're not gone. Okay. So that's why 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, sometimes even 90 days later, all the stuff pops back up on your report and now you're upset. Okay. So stay away from credit sweeps. All right. Key little quote. If you have to lie to fix your credit, you're just trading one problem for a bigger one. Well, that's a good one. How do I get my credit better? Depends. If you want to do it yourself, grab that King Credit Bundle and get to work. If you want us to do it, just shoot me a DM. All right, let me put it up for you. You can just click this. Pin notice. All right, I'm getting good at this stuff. Just click that right there and just shoot me a DM. All right, on TikTok. Instagram, you guys can just shoot me a DM. All right. So quick little story. All right, we had a client that come up last year who had paid a shady company for a credit sweep. All right. Not only was her credit file gutted, but it raised red flags to lenders. Okay. It took us almost double the time to rebuild their credit the right way. All right. We still got them across the finish line. We had to drag them across. All right. But when you put on credit freezes and you're doing credit sweeps and FTC reports, you think that has no consequences? All right. There's no consequences. Okay. There's consequences for that. All right. You're committing fraud. There's consequences for this. All right. Are all trade line scams? No. You just have to use your trade lines correctly. When people say trade line, so all accounts, right? Primary accounts, those are the ones that you apply for yourself. Authorized users, those are the ones you get added on to, you piggyback. But when people say trade lines, they usually mean authorized users. All right. So with the authorized user stuff, always try to find someone in your primary vicinity, your primary circle. All right. Mom, dad, auntie, grandma, friend, your friend's dad, somewhere, right, that you're close to. Okay. Because you can get added onto one of their accounts with a lot of age and a high credit limit for free. Right. If you need to buy one, okay, you want to go down that route, we have some verified authorized users. I call them verified because they're either um, mine, okay, business partners, or past clients that's graduated, that's agreed to allow other clients to get on their accounts as authorized users. All right, so that's also in my link tree, right? It says authorized users in there. Just click my link tree, and all this stuff I'm talking about is in there. Wire credit sweeps illegal. Kind of went over that, but the main one is illegal under federal law, 15 U.S. Code 1028A. Pretending you're a victim of identity theft when you're not. And I didn't even talk about the new stuff that they're doing. I'm trying to keep it positive, But actually, we can jump into it real quick. People are now going on Credit Karma. Okay, this is true, y'all. They're going on Credit Karma, and now they're starting to claim human trafficking. Okay, come on, y'all. Where's our morals at? Right? Where's our morals? All right. Do not claim fault. Don't claim fraud or accounts not mine or human trafficking. Come on, man. We can get your credit right 100% legal. Okay. 100% legal. All right.
King Credit Services.
I'll be right
Big
back.
shout out to King Credit.
King Credit Services.
King Credit Services.
Shout out to King Credit Services.
King Credit Services. King Credit Services.
Big shout out to King Credit.
King Credit Services.
King Credit Services.
Shout out to King Credit Services.
King Credit Services.
Here at King Credit Services, we believe in changing lives, just like the clients you've seen. With over 150 5-star reviews, we've helped countless people take control of their financial future. Our expert team works to remove inaccurate, outdated, and unverifiable items from your credit report, boosting your score the right way. You'll get a personalized strategy, real results, and a clear path to better credit. Don't let bad credit hold you back. Take the first step today. Schedule your free consultation now.
All right, we're back with segment 3. I did have some questions over that quick commercial break. What apps are you using? So I'm guessing you mean for credit monitoring. I personally have my Score IQ and I also have Experian. I pay for both, but you don't need all that. My clients, they use my Score IQ just because it's user friendly. You can see all your reports and you get all your FICO scores too. So if you guys want your FICO scores for $1, try it out. Hit the link in my bio and it says get your FICO scores for $1. Then he said, I heard Credit Karma ain't the most accurate. So if I got a 754 for TransUnion and Equifax, is that okay? So what they mean to say is Credit Karma, CreditWise, Credit Sesame, they're all using. All right, hold on. They're all using, they're showing Vantage scores. Nothing wrong with a Vantage score. It's just a different credit score, right? So don't go to the dealership that's using a FICO 8 auto score, FICO, you know what I mean? A completely different scoring model, right? And think the score is going to be the same. Like that doesn't make sense. Okay. So that's what I mean. If you want to see what the lenders are using, get your FICO scores. All right. Hit the link in my bio. It's in my link tree. It says get your FICO scores for $1.
Hey, Lewis, there's 2 more questions I didn't get to hear. I'm not sure if you answered them or not. One guy was asking about an app called Smart Credit, if you've ever heard of that, and if that's a good app as well to use to try to follow your credit as well. Okay,
yeah, we've actually used Smart Credit as a company before. Great company, great organization, customer service, and all that good stuff. The only thing is kind of what I've been saying. It shows your Vantage score. So the accounts and activity, yes, 100% accurate, good to go. All right, but the score is a Vantage score, so that's the only bad thing.
And then the last question I had that I'm not sure if you answered yet was, can I still build my credit even if I've closed some accounts?
Yeah, you definitely can. You definitely can. But if you're going to be closing accounts, if it's a good positive account, there's no reason to close it, right? You're losing all your payment history, your age, right? You don't want to be doing that. Now, if you're just trying to be proactive, right? So let's say you're in $10,000 of credit card debt or something. And instead of just not paying and getting a charge off and, getting sued and all that, you can call the company, right? Capital One, hey, Capital One, I'm in a financial hardship. I need to close this account and I'm going to make monthly payments of whatever, 200, 300, 500, whatever it is, until this account is paid off. And then it's just a paid close account. Okay, so if you're going to go that route, I can completely respect that. But But yeah, just closing accounts for no reason. There should be a reason. Okay, it should be a reason if you're going to be closing accounts. All right. All right, let's go. Segment 3. So we did the bad way to fix your credit, the legal way. Now let's do the traditional way. So this is what a lot of credit repair companies do. We kind of still do a mix of this, but we do segment 4. We're going to go into that in a second. But a quick breakdown: traditional credit repair, right? Disputing inaccuracies directly with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. A lot of them do it online. You know, then when it comes to collections, they're just sending a validation letter. So that's like that 609 letter that people talk about a lot. You're sending validation letters to the collection agencies, right? Midland, Portfolio. The only thing is, when you're doing this route, okay, the collection agencies, well, let's go with when you're disputing with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. A lot of the times they're stalling, they're not going to be responding, right? So there needs to be a better way to hold them more accountable. So that's what we're going to do in segment 4. But yeah, you just send a dispute letter, you know, saying, hey, this is wrong, and you're kind of leaving it into their hands to do what they're supposed to do. But it's been proven that they don't. All right, it's been proven that they don't. But when it comes to collection agencies sending validation letters, when let's say you dispute with Midland, right, and they send back a bank statement, that's all they have to do to validate that debt. All right, that's really all they have to do to validate that debt, is send some type of documentation that's your name and that proves that that's your debt. It really doesn't even prove it, honestly, but they've got to have some type of documentation with the company, your name, and you know, and they can kind of get away with it. All right. So the pros of that is just good for simple errors. Really, if you're doing personal info inquiries and stuff like that, and it's super easy to do. But the cons: credit agencies often stall or send generic responses. No real accountability. It's like treating the symptom, not the disease. All right. So disputing is smart, but it's not the finish line if you want real results. Again, if you guys want to learn how to fix your credit the right way, okay, join my school community. It's just school.com/King Credit. The first 100 people is only $17 a month. So yeah, people are saying that's way too cheap, but
Can't even get dinner for that.
you
I'm
can't,
telling you.
man. I went to Starbucks and spent that on accident. All right. I went to Starbucks and spent $17 on accident.
It's true. It's true.
I got a matcha and a something and some kind of
I got an iced coffee with 4 pumps of sugar-free vanilla, and I still got charged $17.
it's $5 per pump. It's $5 per pump. Man, they're killing me in there. So yeah, $17 a month, man. We're gonna have actual speakers in there, attorneys and guests and all kind of stuff. 1 or 2 Zooms per month, you know. So we're gonna really, really build that community up. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to build that community up. So if you want to learn how to fix your own credit on top of the King Credit Bundle, join that school community, you guys. How many times can you dispute an account? As long as there is an inaccuracy, you can dispute that account. Keep disputing it. But the only thing is, when you find, let's say it's a charge off and it has the account numbers are off, the dates are off, and it's still reporting the balance, right? We dispute it, okay? And we disputed. How many times can we? Okay, yeah, we disputed it, and then they don't respond, right? And you just dispute again within like the 45 days. That's kind of what they want you to do, right? So then they're going to mark that account frivolous. All right, pretty much means they're not going to touch that account until you bring some new information about it, right? So when you dispute, wait for them to respond actually, and then you can dispute again. All right. Where did all the free courses go? The free courses. So Facebook is free. My Facebook group is free. I'm free live 2-3 hours per day. Okay, that's real valuable right there. YouTube is free. Instagram is free. All right. So I can't do free all day. All right. So the school community is for people that, you know, want hands-on actual training. All right. And that price point is to bring more guests on, hire a virtual assistant to help me run that school community. And it's kind of like a little barrier, right? If you don't want to pay $17 to fix your financial future, you don't want to invest in anything. That's just what it is. Would I have any recourse if a collection goes to court? What do you mean have any recourse? Just DB. Have any recourse? Yeah, if you get sued, yeah, yeah, there's definitely recourse on that. Yeah, I'll come back to that later. All right, so question 2, how long does a validation letter process usually take? 30 days, 30, 45 days. It's usually quicker than that. What if the credit agency ignores your dispute? That's what they do a lot, right? That's what they do a lot. So if you sent a certified mail, you have proof and documentation that they ignored it. And when you sent it, you can kind of use that. But yeah, they do that a lot. A lot of times they just send, automated responses. We call those stall tactics. Tony, I'm interested in your service. I just sent you a DM. Yep, let's go. Right after this live, I'll reach out to you guys. You guys, if you want to sign up, just DM me the word King and we can get it going. All right. All right, let's go into segment 4, man. We're running out of time here. All right, let's go. So we did the bad way to fix your credit, the traditional way people usually fix their credit, and then this is the best way to fix your credit. All right. This is what we use. It's kind of like a hybrid model. All right. We dispute and sue. All right. Pretty much. We dispute and sue. All right. Dispute inaccuracies with credit reporting agencies and collection agencies at the same time. All right. We're tracking for violations. We're gathering evidence. And then we're suing under FCRA or FDCPA, depending on what's going on. So quick example. All right. Quick example. We had one of our clients, first name, I can't say her last name, but Debbie P. All right. Debbie P. Almost said her last name. Good Lord. Debbie. All right. Debbie. We literally just won $3,500 for her with a settlement earlier this month, like on the 7th, right? So she started the process like 45 days ago, right? Not only did she got the money, but her credit profile was cleaned up in the process, and that was only one collection. So that's some of the things you can do when you when you dispute and you're finding violations and all that stuff. So how you can combine the traditional route and finding violations. So when let's say we dispute with Experian, right? We dispute a charge off. Capital One, we had a Capital One charge off with Experian, right? We find an inaccuracy, the account numbers are off or something. I don't know. We dispute with them, all right, and they send us a stall tactic. So a stall tactic would be, those responses we get. Hey, are you working with a credit repair company? How do we know this is you? Blah blah blah. Right? They're stalling. All right. So boom, that's one. All right, that's one violation. All right. So then we're going to send like a round 2. So this is kind of like a method of verification, right? So let's say we disputed, or we're only disputing one account in this example. All right. So we disputed and they sent us a stall tactic. All right. The next one we do, we're like, all right, well, they sent us something. So let's just move on to the next one. Now we're asking them, what procedures did you guys use to even investigate, right? Because when we dispute, they're supposed to investigate these accounts. Right. And they sent a stall tactic. They didn't investigate. Right. So we're kind of catching them in a trap. So let's say they come back with something like another stall tactic, or they just don't respond in time. That's 2 violations right there. That's all we need. Right. Those 2 violations. Now we're going to sue them under the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right. Now they have attorneys for this. Right. They usually settle quick once you find a violation. So it's not as scary as kind of how it sounds. I know anytime you're dealing with the court and stuff, it sounds a little scary, but it's really not that bad, you guys. And we're here to help. And this is what we do. All this is included in your plan. Like, you don't have to pay extra, right, for us to file for you and sue on your behalf. You don't have to pay anything extra. This is all included in your plan, right? Your gold plan, that's our monthly. The platinum plan, that's like our one-time payment, like our high ticket. We got a military plan, so my military folks reach out. And we also have a bad to bankable plan. That's our entrepreneur type of plan. So, business owners, you need good credit if you want to get business credit, right? So that bad to bankable plan, that's kind of for them. We also got student discounts too. All right. So, but all this stuff is included in your plan. All right. So dispute and sue, man. We're disputing, right? Finding inaccuracies and disputing, and then depending on how they respond, we're getting violations and we're suing. On the collection agency side, it's actually a little quicker and a little bit easier. All right, a little quicker and a little bit easier. You can, I don't want to go too deep into it, but yeah, on the collection side, it's a little bit easier. They have arbitration clauses where, they don't want to go to court. Okay, especially once you find a violation, right? They rather just pay the little $1,000 fine or 2,005, whatever it is, right? They rather pay that than go to court because then you're going to be getting damages and attorney fees and all this stuff. So they rather just settle, cut the check, delete the account, and move on. So but we go through all this stuff. We're going to be doing this in the school community, and we also do this for you if you guys want to get signed up. So the pros of this, it fixes credit faster, right? Point blank period. It fixes credit faster. The traditional route, you send a dispute off and they just say, oh, the account was verified. All right, how'd you verify it? Like, what's going on here, right? They don't have to do anything. So this holds them more accountable, right? Holds companies financially accountable, right? So once you start messing with people's accounts and funds and, coins, then they start paying attention, all right? You can win settlements while cleaning your credit, all right? So we actually still use attorneys for ours. Once we get some violations, we just send your stuff over and they handle all that stuff for us. But yeah, you can do the arbitration route yourself. You can do all this stuff yourself too. But this is what we're going to be going over in the school community a little bit more.
So, Lewis, very quick question. And this has nothing to do with finances. The difference between a lawyer and an attorney. Is there a real difference, or honestly, no? The terms are pretty much the same.
I think the terms are interchangeable, but there is a difference though. Hold on,
because I feel like a janitor and custodian are always the same too, but apparently there's a big distinction.
There is a distinction. Hold on.
Okay.
In the U.S., lawyer and attorney are essentially interchangeable and refer to individuals licensed to practice law. Hold on. There has to be a difference. All right. This is a broader term. Anyone who has graduated from law school and is qualified to offer legal services. So a lawyer is anyone that's qualified to offer legal services. They help with research, documentation. Okay. An attorney. Term generally applies to a lawyer who has passed the bar exam and is licensed to practice law. Whoa, so a lawyer is just someone who graduated law school, pretty much. An attorney is someone who passed the bar. That's a big difference.
It is very big.
That's a very big difference. All right, that was a good question. Learn something new. All right, love learning new things. All right, quick little key line right here. Fixing your credit is good. Suing the violators are better. All right. Gotta write that down. All right. 3 possible questions for Q&A. So these are like common questions that people usually ask, like during their consultation calls with us or just a DM or something like that. How do you know when you have a violation? So that's when the FDCPA comes in, right? Fair Debt Collection Practices Act comes in, FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act. So these have laws and these govern the credit reporting agencies and debt collectors, how they can talk to you, how they report information, what they can do, right? So once you start to learn the FCRA, FDCPA, right, now you can start speaking their language and, start suing. So that's pretty much how you know. But the violations are very, very easy. Like for collections, like we just got a violation. We sent a refuse. So they sent a text message. We sent one back saying, hey, we refuse to pay. So when you say you refuse to pay, the collection agency can only respond to say, hey, we're not going to contact you anymore, or they can respond to say, hey, we're going to sue you, blah, blah, blah. We sent that over. So we sent that over on Monday, and then today's Saturday. So Monday, then Thursday, they sent another text trying to collect again, right? So that's the violation right there. So it's really, really, it's simple when you go through a couple scenarios, couple situations. It's really, really easy to catch violations, especially with the collection agencies. It's kind of a free for all over there. They don't know what they be doing. They're calling you at all hours of the night, calling your friends and family, calling your job. They cannot do that stuff, right? Those are all violations. All right. Can you really sue without an attorney? Yeah. Yeah. Most people that sue without an attorney, though, they either, do that arbitration clause or they're going to do it like in state. We do federal. All right. Bigger settlements. Okay. But yeah, you can sue pro se. I believe that's what it's called, pro se. Then what's the fastest way to build evidence? So kind of what we talked about, right? So you get your report, find inaccuracies, and when you dispute, depending on how they respond, that's you're gathering your evidence there. All right, when we're dealing with the credit reporting agencies. The collection agencies, right? You send a, like I kind of said, you send a refusal to pay, and they keep contacting you, they keep calling you and all that stuff. They harass you, all that. That's all evidence, right? So you just have to do a good job of documenting everything, right? You can get your call logs, you guys. You can call Sprint, not Sprint. Sprint is gone. T-Mobile or whoever you're using, Spectrum. You can get your call logs with the numbers and stuff like that. That's what we usually do. We highlight that stuff. So you just kind of have to just write down the time. It's in your phone, right? Screenshot the text messages and all this stuff. It's really, really, really easy, you guys. Documentation is everything. But yeah, super easy. So let me see. I'm interested in your services. Yeah, shoot me a DM, man. Let me put the little box up on TikTok. Hold on. Let me see. All right, yeah, it's up right there. Just click it and just shoot me a DM. As far as fighting it, if I have to remove from several bureaus, yeah, you want to remove from all three. Just DB. I think the first part. Oh, here we go. Would I have any recourse? No, I already answered that. Yeah, I think your first part of your question got filtered out, man. So we can come back to it. Where do you send your disputes? That's not the traditional way. You still send it to the same people. It's just the methods and stuff that you're using. You're collecting violations. That's not the traditional way they usually do it. I just signed up for a consultation. Let's go. So you guys are working on my credit. I get text messages from collectors. Yeah. So especially if you're working with us, I sent out a couple emails about this. I'm gonna have to do another video, send it out on the 1st for our clients. You get a text message, you just send a simple refuse to pay. There's multiple ways you can say it, of course, but this is just for this example. Send a quick refuse to pay, and then once they contact you again, those are all violations, man. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, definitely. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all follow me on all platforms. All right, now all platforms at King Credit Services. Again, I go live twice a day, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you follow the Financial Freedom Hour podcast. It's everywhere. All right. We're starting to get some 5-star reviews, starting to get some, it's starting to get some traction. So go check that out. All right. Working out, driving to work, listen to that podcast. If you need help with credit, budgeting, or business funding, y'all know where to reach me at. All right. KingCreditServices.com. Again, I'm Lewis. I'm your host of the Financial Freedom Hour here at The Answer every Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's my time, y'all. I gotta go. See y'all next week.